In an age so distant it feels like a dream, when the world was still a canvas of untamed green and rugged stone, there was a small tribe. They lived nestled in a valley, surrounded by towering forests and the echoes of a wild, young earth. Among them lived a young hunter named Arkan. They called him the last true master hunter of his people, and for good reason. While the others relied on simple traps and basic instincts, Arkan was different. He carried the spirit of the ancient hunters, brave, endlessly curious, and with a will that could not be broken. He saw the world not just as a place to survive, but as a living, breathing entity full of secrets. One day, curiosity pulled Arkan deeper into the forbidden lands, a place whispered about in fearful tones around the nightly fires. It was there he found it, a mysterious cave, its entrance sealed by a curtain of thick, ancient vines. Pushing them aside, he stepped into the darkness. As his eyes adjusted, he saw that the walls were covered in incredible markings. These weren't just random scratches, they were intricate drawings telling a story. They depicted a giant, mythical creature, a beast so magnificent it was said to appear only once every 100 generations. The creature was known as the Shadow Horn, a colossal being that held the power to bring either boundless prosperity or complete and utter destruction to the land. Arkan stared at the drawings, a chill running down his spine. He knew, with a certainty that resonated deep in his bones, that these were not mere stories. They were a prophecy, a solemn warning left by ancestors long since turned to dust. He had to tell his tribe. He raced back to the valley, his heart pounding with the weight of his discovery. He burst into the main clearing and went straight to the tribal leader, Torvik, a man hardened by years and tradition. But as Arkan recounted what he had seen, Torvik's face remained a mask of stern disbelief. "Chasing legends will bring only death, Arkan," the old leader warned, his voice low and firm. "Our focus must be on the hunt for today, not on ghosts from the past." The tribe members murmured in agreement, their faces reflecting Torvik's skepticism. But Arkan could not shake the images from the cave. The prophecy felt too real, too urgent to ignore. A fire had been lit within him, a sense of destiny that whispered on the wind. If his tribe would not listen, then he would have to face this destiny alone. Driven by an instinct that was older than memory, Arkan gathered his spear, a flint knife, and a small leather pouch of dried meat. Under the cloak of twilight, he slipped away from the sleeping village and set out into the vast, untamed wilderness. His journey was a trial of spirit and body. He pushed through dense, grasping forests where sunlight barely touched the ground. He waded across icy rivers that stole the warmth from his bones and climbed mountains that scraped the sky. At night, he would lie beneath skies lit by strange, unfamiliar stars, feeling both profoundly alone and deeply connected to the world around him. He battled relentless hunger, the gnawing emptiness in his belly a constant companion. He faced down wild predators, saber-toothed cats with eyes like embers, and giant cave bears whose roars could shake the very rocks. He endured storms that raged with a fury he had never witnessed, the heavens splitting with lightning and the earth trembling beneath his feet. But with every challenge, Arkan learned. He started to understand the delicate, intricate balance between nature and survival. He learned that every sound, the snap of a twig, the call of a bird had meaning. Every scent on the wind, every shadow that danced on the ground, told a story. The wilderness was not just a place of danger, it was a living library of ancient knowledge, and Arkan was its most devoted student. As he ventured deeper and deeper into the unknown, following a path only his heart could see, the signs of the great creature grew clearer, more undeniable. He found enormous footprints pressed deep into the mud, each one larger than his entire body. He saw ancient trees, thick as 3 men, bent and broken as if by a colossal force. And then came the sound. At night, a deep, rumbling echo would vibrate through the ground, a sound so low and powerful it felt like the world's own heartbeat. Fear tried to grip him, but his curiosity was stronger. He knew he was close. Finally, after what felt like a lifetime of walking, the moment arrived. Under the pale, ethereal light of a rising moon, Arkan climbed a rocky ridge and looked down into a hidden valley. And there it was. The Shadow Horn. It was more majestic and more terrifying than any drawing could ever capture. Its body was like a moving mountain, covered in a coat of fur the color of midnight. A single, massive horn spiraled from its forehead, glowing with a soft, internal light. Arkin's breath caught in his throat. He had found the legend. But as he watched, he realized something was wrong. This was not the savage monster of the stories. The great beast was lying on its side, and its breaths came in ragged, painful shudders. It was wounded. Ancient, powerful, but wounded and frightened. Moving slowly, cautiously, Arkin made his way down into the valley. He saw the source of its pain. A massive rockslide had crushed one of its legs. And as he looked closer at the displaced earth, he saw the telltale signs of his own tribe's hunting methods: deep pits and carelessly felled trees. The landslip hadn't been a natural event. It was caused by his people's reckless, short-sighted ways. The truth struck him like a bolt of lightning. The Shadowhorn wasn't a destroyer. It was a guardian of the land, an ancient protector, and it was injured because of his tribe's ignorance. They had wounded the very spirit of the forest. With this heavy realization, Arkin turned back. He ran, not with the thrill of discovery this time, but with the urgency of a healer. He returned to his people, not as a boy chasing legends, but as a man who had seen the truth. He stood before the entire tribe, his voice ringing with a new authority. "The beast is not our enemy," he declared, his gaze meeting Torvak's. "The land is crying, and we have failed to listen. We have wounded it, and now we must heal it." Torvak and the other elders resisted, their fear and tradition clouding their judgment. But the younger hunters, who had long admired Arkin, saw the conviction in his eyes. They saw the truth in his words. Slowly, one by one, they chose to follow him. The tribe journeyed to the hidden valley. When they saw the majestic, wounded creature, their fear gave way to awe, and then to shame. Under Arkin's guidance, they worked together. They used their collective strength to move the massive rocks pinning the creature. They brought it fresh water and soothing herbs. They worked for days, not as conquerors, but as caretakers. And the great beast allowed it, its ancient eyes watching them with a wisdom that transcended words. In return for their help, once healed, the Shadowhorn did something miraculous. It rose to its full, magnificent height and let out a low, resonant call. Then, it turned and began to walk, leading them. It guided them through hidden passes to new, fertile hunting grounds, teeming with game. It showed them the sources of fresh, clean water that would never run dry. The Shadowhorn saved the tribe from the slow starvation they had been facing. Arkin became a legend. He was still known as the last hunter, but the meaning of the name had changed. He wasn't the final hunter of his kind. He was the last one to remember, and the first to teach, the true purpose of the hunt. It was not about conquest, or domination, or taking what you wanted. It was about respect, balance, and protecting the natural world that gave them everything. And so, the story of Arkin was carried through the ages. His tale was engraved on cave walls for future generations to see. It was whispered in stories around crackling fires, and it was remembered in the hearts of his people long, long after the Stone Age and its wild wonders faded into the mists of time. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this journey back in time, please give this video a like and subscribe to the channel for more stories from the forgotten corners of history. We'll see you in the next one.